Okay. Here we go. So look, I'm gonna, first of all, let me introduce myself before we start. Just 1 second, let me put it aside. My name is Dr. Dalia. I'm a professor of marketing at Qatar University, College of Business and Economics. And I'm also a professional trainer and marketing consultant. And also I'm chairing the Branding and Visibility Committee on the college level. I'm extremely happy to have you all today. Of course, congratulations on reaching this stage. I just want you to think about yourself that you're already all winners for reaching this final stage. It's great, great job. I'm sure it came after a lot of work and dedication and many good things. So you have to consider yourselves as winners, all of you. Okay? It's important to keep this spirit. I'm sorry, but I have to keep admitting people in. That's I should have removed this option. Some people a little bit late, but it's okay. No problem. No issues. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to be giving you very brief tips about your final pitch presentations that are going to be, inshallah, on Monday. I wish I could have done with this a little bit earlier, but it just, popped up now to do that. But anyway, never late, better, as you say, never late like sorry, not to be sorry, being late, but at least hopefully I can try to benefit you guys, even for small tips, so that you can do a great job, inshallah, on Monday. And maybe at the end, I can leave some, like maybe 5 minutes or something. If you have questions and answers, I can always support you. And let's go. Any questions before we start? Everything is okay? If I would just excuse you to put off your mics so that we don't have any distortion in the sound. And inshallah, we can put it back on once I finish. It's okay? Of course, in the middle, if you have any questions, please just let me know that you want to say something. I'll let you say it, no problem. Cool? Everything is okay? Tamam?
Yeah, good.
Okay, let's start. What we're going to be talking about today is try to deliver power presentations. Presentations that will leave an impact on your audience. Positive impact, of course, not a negative one for sure. So let's move on. Yeah, there you go. What we're going to be talking about today, the steps to be able to deliver a powerful presentation with impact, is to make sure that you do the following steps. Prepare. We're going to talk about preparation. Setup. In our stage, of course, it's online, so we're going to talk about it. Conducting the presentation itself, show time, and your checklists. Very important to make sure that you go through all these. So let's take them by one very quickly and talk about each. Sorry. Yeah, let's go. First of all, there's 5 cardinal sins in presentations in general, whether they're online, offline, regardless. Of course, online makes your job a little bit more, I want to say, challenging, because you're missing a very important tool, which is your body language, and in some cases, eye contact. Hopefully, I know you guys are going to be presenting in front of judges, and I think they will be visible for you so you can see them. I'm not sure about that, but I think this is going to be the situation, and they're going to be seeing you. So yeah, but it makes it more challenging, of course. Yeah, and it's easier to stand and have a stage and perform, and But anyway, for everything, there's a way to go. Don't worry. First of all, take care of these 5 sins. Don't fall in them. No clear point from your presentation. No benefit for your audience. In this case, the judges, they don't see why you're here. What are they going to benefit from what you're saying, or adding value to your solutions that you suggested in your challenges and so on. No clear flow. It's not organized. It's too detailed. Remember, this is a PowerPoint presentation. It's not a written report. So there's a difference between both. And it's too long. You have to stick to time. You get 10 minutes, you'll go for 10 minutes. You have 15 minutes, you have to stick for 15 minutes. That's very important. So take care, starters like that, just not to fall in these traps. Okay? So let's go to the preparation. What are my main components for the preparation? As you can see, we're going to be talking quickly about all these things. Your audience, your topic, your tools, your time, brainstorming, very important, agenda, practice. Let's move on. First of all, let's go to the audience. Okay. Basically, in your case, your audience is the judges, right? What do you know about your judges? Maybe you don't know a lot about them because this is the kind of confidential stuff and it's a competition and all that. But what you know is that you want them to be impressed of what you're saying or get convinced of what of the solutions that you're delivering. So you want to move them from point A to point B. You want them to be, they're entering the presentation at the beginning. They know about you already, but still they are, like curious to know what you're talking about. So they're kind of uninformed, and you want to make sure that there's a solid understanding after the presentation. They're dubious also. They're kind of undecided. They didn't decide the winners yet. That's why you're presenting. So you want to let them believe in what you're saying. So you want to move them from point A, being dubious, to point B, being believing in what you're saying. And resistant, meaning that they will kind of, try to resist to totally fall in love with what you're saying and let you win, to the point that, act, let's go. I think this group did a great job. I think I'm more convinced now with their solution. I didn't realize that they're doing this and that. So that's important, the acts. That's very important. You want them to act. So you want them to understand, believe, and act. And this is important also, that you have to start with your objective in mind. What's your objective from this presentation? Why are you here today? To impress the judges, to let them believe in you, to let them decide on you as a winner. You have to put this in mind before you start. Let's move on. Also talking about audience, the more information you can get about your audience, in this case the judges or those who are going to be listening to you, the better, of course. Of course, I don't know how this works, but try to work on it as much as you can, to know who you are presenting to. طبعا this is more in general understanding and all that, but I like the statement from Aristotle. I would like you to read it, please, because at the end of the day, you're trying to get the audience advocacy. What's the audience advocacy? You want them to be inclined to you. You want them to believe in you. And that's very important. You cannot convince someone you don't know enough, or you don't know why you're here. That's very important. You want to persuade them. Persuasion doesn't come like that. So take care of this point. Another thing about the audience also, try to learn about them, try to discover their hot buttons. In this case, I would suggest you go back to your guide and the deliverables and the stuff you're supposed to do and the criteria that you're supposed to be assessed based on, and see what are the main criteria that will really influence the decision making, and how you can press the right buttons in your presentation to make sure that you touch base with this criteria. That's very important in your presentation. Okay, so you have to do some homework about your audience and about their hot buttons. Moving on, okay. That's very important also about your audience, like what we call the ahas. Like it's like, oh, I got your point. Oh yes, now I understand more. Oh yes, now it's more clear. One aha in the presentation is not enough. You have to make sure that after each and every important point or insight that you're saying, or solution, or whatever you're presenting, that they get the point, and that they are, you grab them, you navigate, show them what you have, and then you deposit and give it to them in the right way, so that they can be more involved in the presentation. The more involved the audience is with you or your judges, the better. That means you're going on the right track. The more convincing, more persuading you're going to be. So look at them, fetch them. Okay, that's very important. You're taking them through, it's like a series of ahas. We're going to talk about the preparation later on when we talk about the actual message itself. But yeah, for now, think about them. Okay. What's in it for you? What we call wifis. What's the wifis? It's not, you're not in the presentation for yourself, by the way. It's not what's in it for me. No, you is your audience, you, the judges. What's in it for them? Why are they here? What will make them, stay with you online and not, daydream in the middle of your presentation or, that's very important. So search for the Wi-Fi or for the Wi-Fi's for your audience. What's in it for them? Why? And this is, again, that I require you that you go back and check out the guides that you have and check out how you're going to be assessed. I'm sure there's a lot of guidance in this area, the criteria, on what basis are they going to be giving decisions and so on. That's extremely important. So you can fetch for the Wi-Fi's and make sure that it's there. Don't go fall in love with yourself in the presentation. It's not about you, about me, me, the presenter. It's about you, who's the audience. Okay, that's very important. What's the benefits that you're going to give them so that you can persuade them in the right way? Here's our presentation framework. Like I like this, like it gives you a big picture of what you're going to be doing. We have, you want them all to reach the point B. Of course, at the beginning, you have your audience ID, who they are. Why am I here today? Don't forget about the ahas, about the Wi-Fi's and the stuff. Make sure that you get them involved and make sure that you touch the hot buttons for your audience. And I would say the hot buttons is the things that they are looking for to assess you and the criteria that they put for you to win this competition, okay? There's external factors for sure, positive ones, negative ones. You have to take them into consideration. That's why you have to be 100% focused, 100% involving and ready to present and practice and practice and practice. And you have to take into consideration you're not doing this presentation and on the space. Of course, it's about space, but we're not doing it on space. We're doing it here. Okay, so there's many factors around us that can influence positively and negatively. So put them in mind. And of course, your setting, in this case, of course, it's online. I would suggest brainstorming together as a team before. This is all we're talking about the preparation stage. So please go for brainstorming with your team. Okay, that's very important. The next 3 slides, actually, I'm not going to read them all out. They're basically some tips for you, how to brainstorm with your team to prepare for your presentation. Okay, as you can see, focus before flow, using the right tools for the right job. Focus before the flow, I would suggest please to give a little bit space for your creative mind, which is your right side mind. I sure you all know that the right side of the brain is the one responsible for the creative part and the, putting things in a crazy way, like out of the box, and then you start back going down to your left side and putting things in perspective in the right way, in a logical way. Try to use logical deduction, try to use flow charts to explain. That's very important in the brainstorming stage when you're preparing for this big show. Okay, there are no bad ideas in brainstorming. Please know that. Open, listen to your colleagues, sit together and make sure that you have a plan. Make sure that you have a story to tell that will be very inviting and encouraging to listen to, and so on. Also, further tips for you. I try to stop this as much as I can, so I can give you a lot of tips so that some of you can use, some of you don't need, and so on, just for you, for your disposal. Yeah. So please have a look at them, and you can read them at your own. Maybe I'll try to share this with you. As I said, I'm going to be recording the presentation. Maybe I'm going to try to share it with you later on, inshallah. Again, brainstorming tips. That's very important. As you can see at the end, you put from parents and children to Roman columns and class. It's very interesting. Like first you have, it's like the parent, you have the big main bulky ideas, and then you have small sub ideas under them, and then you start putting them into categories and themes and clusters so you can be able to deal with them in your presentation. Oh, we're going to be talking about, you're going to start like that, and then we go like this, and then it's going to happen like that, and then it's going to be logical deduction to do this, and then I'm going to be sub points like that. Yeah, you have to be. This is the outcome of your brainstorming session, okay? And splat and polish, fine tune. Give your themes, your ideas, and then fine tune them, polish them, put them in the right perspective, in the right way. Okay, in the right order, of course. Again, in your brainstorming framework, think about point B. That's what you're going to do in your brainstorming. What's the tasks? What you're going to do? Think about point B. Don't forget point B. You want them to do what? To believe in you, to act, to understand. Remember that. Audience, identity, knowledge level. What's in it for you, the audience? What's in it for them? Think about that. Put yourselves in their shoes, not your own shoes. Okay, it's not about you. You're not coming to impress yourself. You're coming to impress your audience, your judges. Don't forget that. And think also about what external factors can influence you, whether negatively or positively. Setting, in this case, of course, we're talking about online. Who, when, where, what you're coming to talk about. Setting the stage is very important online. Of course, online, limited setting. So you're just online. And we're going to talk about the checklist for the online later. But online can be fun. Believe me, online, if you want to make it fun, it can be. And it can be effective, and it can be influential, and it can be persuasive. Your topic, okay, as you can see. After you brainstorm, assemble your material, establish a theme. That's very important. Tell a story. What's your theme? What is the meat? What is the main thing? A theme is something that will overwhelm your whole presentation. Are you going to be storytelling it? Are you going to do it in maybe moving pictures or videos? Are you going to be how are you going to do it? Do a mental map of your topic. That's very healthy, really. Just what's a mental map? Anybody can tell me what's a mental map? Can anybody help us? Please, I would love to hear your voices. Tell me. You know what's a mental map? No one knows? Come on. No?
Actually, I know
What?
What we have to think about.
Sorry, again. Who's this? It's Sibja? That's your name, my dear?
My name is Sibra.
Sibra, hi, how are you? Tell me, what's a mental map?
Mental map, I think it means that to share the idea that what you have think before and you just what you are going to implement, what is the main bullets of your project.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wants to add anything before I talk and speak about it? I
Yes.
think gentle. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, my dear.
Yes, we do. We draw a map on the paper about our ideas, how we will do it. It's like a plan, but we draw it to make it more
Yes, observable. Yes, bravo. Yes, great. Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you for the input. As Holal said and Sibra said, thank you very much for your input, both of you. Very true. Actually, like Holal said, it's a normal plan, but how do you do it? It's like for any plan, what do you have in a plan? You have what you're going to start with, or your objectives, why you're here today, right? What you want to reach, what are the main things you're going to talk about, and what's the benefit out of these things? How are you going to talk about them? How are you going to present them? And what's the end result of this? What's the outcome? What's the expected outcome or benefits for your audience? So you put this in a map in a way that has some sort of blocks, arrows, things that are our main objective, for example, in the middle. And then you have some arrows coming out with how we're going to be doing this objective, and then and so on. So it's like kind of a logical deduction of your thinking, putting it in a flow. So that's basically a mental map of your topic. Very interesting, but it makes life much easier. As I said, it makes it observable. I can see it, I can feel it. So when I talk about it, it's in my mind. If you forget, the good thing about the mental map is that once you did it, so you understand your topic so well. If you're in the middle of a presentation and you miss a point or you forget something, go back to the mental map, you will remember it. And that's one main reason why we do mental maps, actually. Because usually people identify more with visuals than texts. So it will make it much easier for you to get back to your visual. Okay, outline your key points, establish subpoints, use 3-inch and 3-inch cue cards. I don't have something here, but maybe it's looking like something like, I don't know, cards. Actually, of course, this is more used in an offline presentation when you're on stage. But even if you're the kind that speaks up and maybe you need to look at something, never like hold a piece of paper like this in front of your audience online. That's a big disaster. Or even show it to the camera in any way, or keep looking your eye contact somewhere else and not looking at your camera and your audience. That's a big mistake online. Avoid these things. That's big sins. Add into the sins that I told you about in the beginning. Big sins. Don't ever do that. So if you feel more confident in just holding something in your hand, as a matter of fact, will be small cue cards, as you can see, and don't let them be visible for your audience or your judges. Just keep them just at the side in front of you, and just, have a quick look every now and then. But don't do like this and leave your audience away. No eye contact, no. And don't put them to distract your camera or your visual. That's a big problem. Don't do that. Okay, that's important. And of course, 1 card per key point. Don't stuff them. So you can, if you just basically have a look, I forgot this, I'm gonna say, and so on. You understand? Don't stuff them. So you need to go into details and look at them. That's not appropriate in the presentation. Okay, let's move on. What tools do you have? What tools do you have? Let's think. Visual, audio, video, video, pictures, auditory, my voice, my vocal. Make yourself clearly heard. Slow down. Take a breath whenever you can. Use your voice wisely. Wisely. Don't speak too fast and don't speak too slow. Okay, your pace is very important. And make sure you always maintain eye contact. And that's the kinetic part when it comes. Kinetic and online, it's eye contact. Because there's nothing else you can do. Maybe using of your hands a little bit, but don't overuse your hands. Just keep it, under control. Let's talk more about tools. As you can see, your slides. Take care. Keep them short. 1 idea per slide. That's very important. Add a picture, video, wherever possible. Yes. Look, we say there was a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Nowadays, a video is worth 1,000,000 words. You have to insert and integrate pictures and videos in your presentation. Visuals, generally speaking, charts as much as you can. Avoid using tables. Use charts instead of tables in a PowerPoint presentation. We usually use tables in written reports. When we talk about PowerPoint presentation, we transform these tables into charts because they are easier to interpret than tables. Unless you essentially have to put in a table, go ahead. But I would advise you to try to replace them with visuals and charts. To be much more beneficial for you and much more involving and much more attractive for your audience. That's very important. So videos, pictures as much as you can, charts, visuals. Okay, that's very important. Make sure that your letters are large, bold, and legible. That's very important as well. Don't use caps in all your PowerPoint unless only in the titles. As you see, even my presentation. Caps are not easily read when there are too much caps. So don't use caps in the text itself. That's not appropriate. Okay, capital letters, capitalizing, yes. Bold, color, the stuff that should stand out, okay. But don't use caps in your slides. Don't overuse caps and put them in the body or the text. That's not appropriate. Caps are not easily read, by the way. Okay, so take care of that. Use the 4x4 rule. What's a 4x4 rule? Try as much as possible. 4 words per line, 4 lines per slide. Make this. I'm not following it here, unfortunately, because it's a presentation about presentations. But anyway, as much as you can, because it's not also a proposal. You're presenting a proposal. It's totally different. As much as you can, try to follow this rule. Don't stop. Use many slides better than using few slides that are stopped. Okay. Show all the information first. Make sure you are. A lot of people forget to have an agenda at the beginning, an overview. Like today, at the beginning, I told you, okay, everybody, that's what we're going to talk about. That's very important. Okay, keep people informed. That's very important. Don't assume that they know anything about you. Don't assume that they know anything about you. That's very important. And of course, as I said, don't block your audience view of visuals like this, like that, putting papers by mistake, doing something. That's right. We're going to talk about testing later on. Your agenda. Welcome and introduction. Welcome, people. Thank you for coming today to listen to us. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. It's very important. Okay, introduce yourselves. Be proud of yourselves. that you reach this stage. Okay, self-confidence. It will show. Also, this is kind of an icebreaker in the beginning, or what I call a creative opener, like, trying to, take a breath and get yourself into the perspective of the presentation and the mood. So introduction, welcoming, all these things, like really get it all out, the frustration of the first stage appearance or the frustration of the first presentation. I'm sure most of you went through that in your college life. Okay, everybody remembers can someone tell us about their first experience in their first presentation? Anybody share with us a story? Come on. Anybody wants to share with us the first time you did a presentation in your life? How did you feel about it? How was it? Quickly, come on. Can someone share it with us? No?
Yeah, sure, I can go.
Amjad, okay, go ahead. How are you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good. First presentation, I would say, is probably the one where you're the most anxious. You're not used to like a crowd or a big audience, depending on the size of the audience, especially if it's people you don't know. It's harder the first time, it's hard to keep eye contact, which, as you said, is really important in a presentation. And I guess you still sometimes fumble over words. It's hard to keep a monotone voice throughout the whole thing. But what's nice is like, it's good to do it because over time you get used to it. You have to do it a few times to get over the stage fright of talking in front of an audience.
Yes.
So even though it's really hard the first few times, it helps in the end.
For everything, there's a start.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And you have to, the earlier the start, the better. So you get, as
Yeah.
Ahmed said, I totally agree, you get used to it. I remember I was in a student conference when I was a student, and I had a presentation also to do. And I'm sorry, just 1 second. Let me get. And I was it was a student conference, and my supervisor. Can you all see the presentation now? It's back. It's okay. My presentation, yeah.
Sure.
And he told me, Dalia, go. Come on, you're gonna talk. We were preparing it all night, and I assumed that he's gonna do it. And they told me, no, you're gonna go. So it's the first time for me to do this, and the first time for me to travel. I was like, for a student conference and stuff like this. Like, no, come on, you have to go. There's a first time for everything. Go, you're gonna do it. You worked on it all night, so go ahead and do it. And he shocked me, really. It was the first time. I was also like Amjad in the beginning, trying to gather the words, trying to have a look at the audience, looking aside. Well, what am I doing here today? But then actually, I did a good job at the end, knowing that it was my first public presentation. And for everything, there's a start. And then it was okay for me after that. But believe me, no matter how good are your presentations, you have to practice. You have to keep practicing. You have to do your homework. Don't take your skills for granted. That's a piece of advice I would tell you from someone who does so many presentations in my life. Okay, and so many situations in my life. But I always don't take my skills for granted. I keep practicing every single time as if it's the first time. That's one of the key for success in presentations. So as you can see, welcome, introduction are the objectives. Why we're here today? What's the problem? What are you presenting? What's the solutions or the benefits that you are giving from your, of course, interesting projects? Action plan, how you see that it will happen. Why is action plan here in red? And because actually this is interesting. This is what people want to listen to. And this is part of your persuasion strategy. Okay, be ready for Q&A if there is Q&A. And of course, if there's a go-ahead or a wrap-up at the end, make sure you are ready for that as well. Time. Take care. Time. The average of any presentation from 15, 20 minutes, but I think you guys have only 15 minutes, right? I think, if I'm not wrong. 15 minutes, your presentations are 15 minutes on Monday? Yeah?
I have no idea actually.
Okay, you have to. I think
the presentation.
So
we don't know how the.
I think they're 15 minutes, but I would advise you to go back and check with people who are responsible for the competition who are going to be doing that, please. And if I know, I'll share it with you as well. But I think it's 15 minutes.
Thank you.
It's important for you to know. Very important.
But we actually try to contact them and talk to them, but there's no one answering, and there's some problems contacting the.
Okay, I'll make sure After we finish, Sarah, I'll make sure I relay this message to them. Don't worry. No worry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No, for sure. No problem. Practice makes perfect. There is the 7 P's of it. Proper practice and preparation prevents poor performance. Remember these 7 P's. Proper practice and preparation prevents poor performance. See, that's very important. You have to make practice before you go. Don't just go live like that, as if you're seeing this for the first time. This is a big disaster. For sure, something will go wrong. Believe me. A dry run can be fun. Always remember that. A dry run without audience can be fun. Make it fun. Bring some of your friends. Okay, guys, please, we're gonna do this now. Let's go. Whatever. Online meet. Get your family members. Get your small sister, your younger sister, younger brother, whatever. Do a dry run before you go and you do the big time, the big show. That's very important. Okay. There's different ways. The most important thing, and try to make it fun. Remember that the dry run can be fun. Okay. Setup, of course, it's online. Log in early, timely, punctuality. They will not wait for you. You should wait for them. Remember that. Okay. Check all your connections, equipment. Don't forget your laptop charger. Take care of these details. We always say that the devil is in the details. The devil is a bad guy. We know that. Always the bad guy is in the details that we forget. Take care of these things. Write down if you forget. Have a checklist. That's very important. Test your audio, test your video. Make sure it's working perfectly. Everything is okay. Don't test it on the presentation at the time already started. Go early, please. Be there, log in early. That's very important. You know, technology is tricky sometimes. Take care of that. No background distractions. No background distractions during the present. Make sure that everything is clear, ready. Okay. Sound. No weird noises around you, and so on. Showtime. What is required from showtime? Sorry. Your message, your story. Use motivators. Use creative openers. Use creative closers. Be ready for the Q&A. Let's quickly go through them. Try to, as much as you can, to have, of course, this is in conventional presentations, but also even though you're presenting a proposal, keep a smile. Try to ice break with anything related. You can even do it related to what you are coming to talk about. Short video, a proverb, a phrase that you believe in as a team. Present yourselves in a good way. Anything that reflects your identity, and so on. Okay, just 1 second. I have to do something. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. So just think about your opener. Don't just go, okay, hello, we're here to tell you about it. No, don't never do that. Come on. Never do that. Okay, you have to be smiling. Try to break the ice with anything at the beginning with your judges. Put them in the good mood. Put them in a mood that they are curious to know what you're talking about. So try to use creative openers. It will take 1 minute of your presentation, 2 minutes maximum, not more than that. Okay, and just look at these things. They can be good checkpoints for you. As I said, short video, some saying or proverb that you believe in, something that you want to share, something about your teamwork, a 1 minute video about you as a group and how you work together, whatever. Okay, but it will really make a difference. It will really make a difference. What's your message? Come on, we went through the brainstorming and all this. Now, what is your message? You have an agenda. Follow it. That's very important. Keep it short to the point. Focus on new information. Do not read word by word your slides. This is a big trap that many people fall in. Reading word by word. Reading word. No. Am I reading word by word my slides? Can't you read the slides? All of you? A very important rule. Don't do for audience what they can do for themselves. That's very important. They can read the slides. The slides are there. So why are you reading it word by word? What are they going to benefit if you read? They can't read, they can read. Slides are just there to guide you. You are the presentation, not the slides. This is why they're called visual aids. Okay, they're aiding you. You are the star. You are the show. You are the winner, not the slides. What if the electricity goes up and we have a big disaster in the communication? Khalas, you don't talk without the PowerPoint? No, don't let the PowerPoint control you. You are controlling it. Remember that. So don't just sit and read word by word. So boring, so monotonous. No. Always, as our friend told us, maintain eye contact. Always look at the camera, look at people, look at the audience, look at your judges. Okay, that's very important. Do something different every 5 minutes. Don't, to remove the monotony and the boredom of the, especially if you're talking about something too sophisticated or too detailed and requires a lot of attention and details here and there, or break it with video, picture, something you want to share, fun. Try as much as you can in your presentation, okay? The best thing is to tell a story in your, and the message should be your story. Why are you here today? What's your story? What is it? And so on. Right. Message again. Look, my girls, unfortunately, my Zoom is going to end in 1 minute. I'm going to log back in. Okay, so you stay. I'm going to log you all back in.